Okay, go with it. I'm gonna adjust the microphone a little bit. There you go. That should be better. Good. Entered. Okay. So let's do my sun is just at the right level to hit me right in the face here. Oh, I apologize, I can't do much about that. The blinds are closed. I don't know why I'm apologizing. Not exactly affecting anything other than the face. Okay, so today I'm going to not mess around with CSS. I feel that is something that is probably best left off stream, other than basic working. So what I have working so far is I have I can sign out, right? Now we're gonna have to fix this sign out actually. Now let's get that working. I'm kind of doing this all on one commit right now, because the problem is that I like to tinker with this stuff so much that I don't like to commit things, because I'm gonna be going back and forth. Hold on, let's see. Does this have a log out params return to the URL? HTTP localhost 4200. Let's see if that'll work. You go here, sign in. Put the password, we log in. We get to here, we can navigate around, we can go here. Sign out. This configuration, that's what I thought I would get. So let's copy that over. All I'm doing is on alt0.com, I'm just making sure that that is a valid logout URL. Again, I don't like bringing up the I don't like bringing up alt0 every time on stream. There's nothing I'm going to particularly show that I know of, but I don't want to have to worry about. So I'm going to call this liquid sky client at this point. Login. Does that allow sign up now? Yeah, okay. So at least it takes us back to where we were, right? That is what matters. Okay, so we can sign in. Well, that does a full-on sign out as well. That's both good and bad. Let's close docket down there. Open. Okay. So when you start, you're in the dashboard. Again, yesterday proving that in the dashboard, hello world, this is your dashboard. So this is the content in there. We have the layout component, which I think is very useful. We could actually potentially put in different layouts, which is something that I want to investigate later on. because I have a different idea there. And right now I've got the very basics in place of some sort of navigation. Again, once I move forward with actual functionality, some of this will become a little easier. I don't want to worry too much about it right now. The more rigid I make this now, and the more time I put in, the more invested I am, and the more unlikely I am to want to change it later. So I'm not going to play with this in its current form, other than just making sure it's functional. Functionality like search or displaying cards, etc., those are the things I'm going to focus on. But again, not trying to make it look totally as I intend in the end. So I think it's a good time to, talking about that, is actually probably a good time to commit this at this point, because I am logging in and seeing things. So let's say we have landing functional. So we have login will take you to dashboard. Dashboard provides dashboard is nested in shared layout. Stubbed out initiatives. Planning pages. Planning. Okay. Let's commit and push them. I think it's time to review some Soul and stuff. Post CSS. That's not totally unsurprising. That's because the layout has all the markup. And there we go. Okay. So that's... Why did that not go up? Why did that change? Bookmarks. Okay. Routes for planning module. And push. So let's get that merged. Let's get the PR for that in, and then we can I bought that. Add landing page. I logged in. Report request. So one of the things I want to do with this project is I do want to look at NGRX, so I can have what I believe will be an easier time of things, right? So as I had a planning item or something, right? Storing it locally makes sense, because then it's got to go up to the server, get stored, and then come back down, and then the GraphQL endpoint is going to then have that data available to it, right? Because the view is separate from the write, or the read is separate from the write. So I think using state is a good thing to do. It's been a few years since I did this. I think now this system is in probably a better state than I've ever seen one in terms of how I would do this. The problem is I'm not entirely sure. I've got a whole different set of technologies to learn, right? Signals is new in Angular 17, but NGRX is there. I was hearing someone talk the other day about not using certain elements of this. So I don't know what I should use and where I should use it, and I don't know if the documents are going to be effective. So, effective use of Angular 17 with NGRX. Let's see if we can figure something out. Power of NGRX signal store. Because I assume what I could do here is hook into the fact that GraphQL does provide me with the ability to actually so much code to write, and you've got to get your head around so much stuff. But GraphQL offers me the chance to have kind of listeners on that side as well. So it's essentially what I could do is have the state locally maintained. So when I retrieve, when I load a planning item in, I can pull that planning item and then if it changes, like someone else even changed it, it could actually tell it could signal that it actually has changed and then update itself in the backend behind the scenes before the UI even knows. I'd imagine that's the flexibility of this, because then the information's local but not owned locally. So it's just another read-only copy of the data. Here we add to the task list, we update the task, delete the task. That's the service. Economy. So what I'm going to have to do is learn how to use this effectively. Did I choose a stream title? Huh. Must have chose the world's most boring stream title today. Either our things aren't working right. Stream sound okay? Yeah, okay. No. Okay, when working an Angular application, managing NGRX. The group of Angular is reactive extensions of state management. It makes Angular development easy by simplifying the application's state and objects and forcing unidirectional data flow. So again, the purpose is a component fires actions that have effects or receive effects. You can then send data through the store and then pull it out into the component, right? So my service, my backend service can pull the data, and it doesn't go directly through to the component, but it does go into the store, and the store has the information that the component can pull from. So if I go and I list the planning items, then I click on a planning item, I don't actually have to wait for that planning item to load down because I've already requested it when I showed the screen. So the planning item is loaded, and I can go into that. When I change it, I can make that change in state to the local copy while I fire off the event to say, hey, now go do the actual server state. So you could have potentially a planning item that is slightly out of date, but it will be quicker and it will return properly. So I believe that's the benefit here. But again, this isn't something I've spent a long time working on. So the biggest challenge is copying all the pieces without knowing fully what they're doing to understand what they're doing. So let's get that PR merged. Right, so it merges in 27 files changed. Again, we have app component has changed to have it on in it. It redirects to planning right now. We have a nested route for planning, which loads the children from the planning module. We have deleted a file. We have renamed the default layout. And there's a layout TS, and this is basically just the stuff that does the interactivity with the UI. The module itself, the routes for the module, sample dashboard, deleted the standalone components of the dashboard component, added the initiatives component and the planning items component just to demo them. Some lovely path there. Put in some components, logout. Change the logout component to accept the label so you can actually change it. That's a sign out and style. Hardcode.logout URL. Win. We'll come back around to that later. Added the route guards, the permission service, so we can actually validate. You can log in. And there we go. Okay. So I think that's all good. Realized I didn't have my stream deck. I do not have a mute button. Oh yeah. Okay, that should be work, and then I should be muted. That. Not doing. Right, that's not doing anything. Yeah. Oh, worry about that later. But it mutes the important part there. I felt the need to sneeze, and I don't feel like sneezing down the microphone. If you're just joining, all I'm doing right now is I'm just getting the merge done so that I can move forward with changes into development. Yeah, maybe we can merge that one. Merge, delete branch, always clean up. Okay, we fetch that down. Delete that. Hold on the latest changes. Go. I can delete the branch locally as well. Okay, so everything is there. You have an app that is able to be navigated around in a little bit. Is it perfect? No, but it does work. That is what matters. So what I'm going to work on is getting. So let's start with getting the GraphQL piece in, getting a list of planning items showing on the screen, right? And then we can prove we can add an item and then refresh and get new items. Let's prove that workflow is going through without issue. So planning items. Let's talk about that. Views, planning items. Right now I've called this planning items because it is kind of planning, right? What I want to do here is some sort of card layout. Go over to Bobbin, sorry, whatever it's called. Inspiration. Customer support, intelligence, business, finance, travel, crypto, productivity. Let's see if any of the productivity apps give us any sort of layout here to play with. Customer relationship magic. Nope. Nope. So again, I'm not copying here, right? I'm not trying to copy. I'm trying to look to see how others might achieve the same thing I'm trying to do. Lands out of thin air and is now here. Turns over and looks back and oh wait, I just jumped out when I landed over here. Hi Carney, how you doing? Good morning or good day. Let's have a look. Here we go. That's templating. Okay. Not far off what would be useful though. Actually, so what I'm thinking of here, let's not over engineer this piece right now, because what might be useful is kind of a card layout or a list layout with order of review. So kind of see how these are grouped by the task thing. This, but by today, this week, next month sort of thing. It's Friday, the work is almost over, my dog has bees in his back end and I tried to get stuff done. Now I can listen to you. Technically almost fine. Good. Oh no. I have a restless puppy. Okay, so yeah, maybe I have that view. Oh my goodness me. What the heck do I do with that? How the hell do I stop that? Really? That's what I have to deal with today? Idiots. Come on, Twitch, how the... Oh man. I've not had to do that before. Just what I needed today. Yeah. I don't generally do that, but yeah. This time. Uh Settings. Idiots. That's what I wanted to do. And I lost a follower in that as well. Awesome. Settings. How do I do this? Oh no. No. That verification. All chatters must have a verified phone number. Do I do verified phone number? Do I do first time chatters must have verified phone number? Chatters without verified phone number must have accounts older than 2 weeks. All because you're a moron. Now I have to worry about that today. Well, I guess I've got big enough to be noticed by that, so yay. Now, how do I undo those follows? Because that got in just before. I have to block all of them. Yeah, well, I don't have that option now. So I guess I'm not streaming today. Really? I hope drop 88 you are a real follow and not a another bot. Oh man. Well, I apologize for anyone joining the stream about what you are witnessing, but yeah, I have around 150 followers to get rid of. Because people are idiots. I mean, I've been streaming for almost 5 years, and that's the first time I've ever been botted, I suppose. All of our Twitch's guidance here is how to handle viewership botting and fake following. Follow botting is when a channel is followed by a number of fake accounts. Those accounts are usually created by computer or script and will attempt to look as real as possible while following the target account en masse. These fake accounts are generally made and detected in batches, meaning that if you've been the victim of the follow botting, you may notice a sudden dip in followers from time to time as the batches are removed. That's it. So Twitch's direct advice is to just let it be. And accept that my follow account has been artificially inflated and that those accounts, as they're identified and blocked, will be removed. My follow account will fall. Oh crap, I got it. 1 second. Okay. My dog decided to de-stuff the couch right during the middle of that as well. Sorry. I mean, the reality is I can't do anything about it, right? I'm not messing around with scripts. I'm not driving myself crazy. Seto could drive himself nuts. The viewership will drop. The follows will drop off as the accounts are blocked. I'm not going through banning them all. I'm not going through 150 accounts now on stream, going through banning. I'm not panicking about that piece. It can stay there. If thank you, I appreciate that. It's totally ridiculous. I mean, you know, I suppose I've come to the attention of, you know, it's just been my turn, right? 5 years of streaming, first time. Oh, actually, a little longer than that, 5 years, but the 5 years at Twitch anniversary coming up, you know, so. Okay. Shield mode. How do I turn off? Let's at least give the chance of getting some actual genuine follows today. I've been doing good as well. That's the worst thing. Recently, I've been getting a couple of follows per stream, which has been really great. You know, so, but yeah, that's frustrating. Not gonna lie, that's kind of putting a dampener on my day a little bit. I suppose that's the cost of streaming, right? I get to see those things. Oh, come on. You asshat. Really, this is the fun you have? This is actually the fun you're having today. Doing this to someone's stream. You're an idiot. Go find something better to do with your life. Does that mean anyone not following me can't see my stream today? because of this moron. No first-time chatters. Right now, the stream is in, you can't chat unless you've been following me for a month, and you're not allowed to chat if you're the first-time chatter, which couldn't be if you've followed me for a month anyway, so I don't know how those two are mutually, they're not mutually exclusive, but... Hold on. How does that work? If I've got shield mode, oh, if I turn shield mode off, it's because the other setting didn't kick in. Yeah, okay, well, I guess that's me for today. I guess I'm not doing anything productive. Now I'm scared to turn off the shield mode. Because I don't think the other settings... I mean, I could put the chat in follower only mode. Hi, Rockstone. How are you doing? Yeah, this is... I'm not in the... I'm not in the right frame of mind to be dealing with this. It's upsetting me more than I want it to. So it's extremely irritating right now. Okay, email vote. So what's the point in setting first-time chatters in my channel must have a verified phone number? And chatters without a verified phone number must have accounts older than 1 month. All chatters must have a verified email. How can they all have a verified email? Okay, if you're banned, you don't get to view the stream. Let's put the... I mean, I could put the chat... I could put the channel in followers only mode, so... Essentially, that's what it's in now, right? Yeah, followers only slow mode, non-mod chat delay, 6 seconds on all messages. It's ridiculous. I mean, essentially everything's as it will be. When I turn shield off again, everything's as it will be, right? So I just hope that when I hit that button, it clears it for you guys. Because my screen is extremely upsetting me. chair-centered at all. Don't know what to do now. So anyone joining the stream, you're a follower, I would bet. I apologize. I'm not being productive right this second. Hi Apex, welcome in. Welcome to the Nightmare stream. I just got spammed and follow botted. And as this was happening, my dog emptied my couch of its stuffing at the same time. So I'm having an awesome morning. I got 150 users follow quickly, spammed with messages, and then when I took shield mode off so people could chat again, even though you're meant to be a follower, you're meant to be have an account for a month and not be a first-time chatter, whatever I set up. It got spammed again the moment I took shield mode off, so yeah, you'll notice my follower count hit the 1K mark. I wish it was legitimate. So yeah, this is the fun that I have today. Okay, well, I can't do anything about that. Eventually they'll disappear. But basically, shield mode stays up for today, and I'll have to, yeah. I mean, it's random who it can happen to, I think, or unless it's literally someone that's seen the stream and decided that they think it's funny that they're going to do that to me. Because it's definitely someone, because the message they they posted directly targeted Canny, so it's definitely someone watching the stream. Yeah, if you see my dashboard looks like that right this second. It's really annoying because I was really looking forward to making progress on this project today. Okay, well, if you're a viewer and you are not able to follow, my apologies. If you're interested in following, I would recommend hang it out if you want to. I'm going to do some coding shortly. I just need to breathe a little bit. So just give me a minute and I'll about that in a second. Just looking at some stuff quickly. Sorry, I'm just checking some of the stuff while I'm waiting to do. Okay. To me, another change. Go quick. I do. Quite taste the wind out your sails. So for anyone joining, I am working on my Agile platform. I just got to get over this follow bot thing that happened. Ads are coming up in a few minutes. Yay! Not that affects any of you guys. I just had to go change some other things. So now Discord's a little bit heavier. I didn't have any verification on there now. And you have to have a phone number and have an active account for a month before you can join Discord. So no new Discord accounts. What was I planning on working on today? Ironically, planning. So I had this working yesterday, right? So I got the navigation functional. So I was able to get the content lanes. We have a layout page, and now we can start to work on the actual application. We got sign out working. So yeah, this is coming together as I want it to. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to focus on UI. If I get bogged down with the actual UI concerns right this second, Weathers, thank you very much for the look. Appreciate it. Hope you're well. So the goal here is we have planning, and now again, I'm not going to mess around with this because I'm going to end up with I want to figure out permissions and stuff, right? So we pass the permissions when we log in, we get the permissions, so therefore we can like toggle all these different things. So that's going to be an individual effort, right? Whether you can see initiatives, whether you can do planning, what you can see, what you can do, etc. Feature flags is also going to come in there as well. So I don't want to necessarily change any of that this second. So yeah, planning items is what we're going to focus on. I'm not going to turn shield mode off for the rest of the stream today. So right now, if you are not, it can't be a first-time chatter, so I apologize. So if you are viewing the stream, I don't think it blocks you from seeing it. I'll turn off the chat delay. Turn off slow mode. No, I'm in shield mode. Shields activated. Oh, come on. Now I'm being view-botted as well. There's no way that's legit. Yeah, it says 300 on my dashboard. 300. Oh no, now 1,200 viewers. So I've been follow-botted, spammed, and view-botted all in one stream. Now, if that was legitimate, that'd be awesome, but that's not legitimate. 2,000. Oh, now the fault. No. Now Streamlabs is catching up with all the follows from earlier on. I just noticed. I mean, I just hope someone's just wasting resources on a stream that averages 10 people. Yeah, it does seem like I'm being targeted, doesn't it? The most frustrating part of this, right, is the fact that these streams are actually the highlight of my day. I have really been enjoying streaming to the point where this is the best part of my day. These 2 hours I get to stream are the most relaxing, most focused energy I have all day. So this is really tilting me because I know that what I've got to do after the stream is just mind-bogglingly dumb and dull. So it's like, ugh. So that's why I'm more upset than I really should be about this. I can't do anything about that. I realize that I'm not. That's what's upsetting me. So anyway, you are right. Don't care. Don't feed him. Leave the troll alone. Okay. What am I doing? Okay, so let's just get on with that. So this is a feature learn. What I'm focused on is Twitch will know. Twitch's page, by the way, Twitch's page on this says, yeah, it'll go away eventually. The page does not give you any guidance. So if this happens to you, their page literally says, follow botting can happen. It'll go away eventually. Right? So the 1,000 followers, yeah, will eventually disappear. Oh, the 150 followers. I have legitimately 850 followers, but their page on it doesn't give you any. There's no, hey, contact Twitch, or hey, we can help you here, right? Like, they don't know what an API surge looks like. It was the LMAO that got attacked there because of the language on the stream. Yeah. Oh, come on. I have no option. I can't do anything. What do I do with that? You're an ass. You're a little child, and I hate you. You have absolutely wrecked my day. I have... Wow. Turning the stream off doesn't do anything for me. Followers only chat 1 month. Slow mode 30 seconds. Non-chat mod delay 6 seconds. You're all powerful. You're amazing. I'm sure my stream was well worth taking down. Yeah, you got him. A small stream with an average of 10 viewers was worth doing this to. Your coding skill is legendary. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I have no idea what is the point in Twitch having modes around that. Like, the shield mode is still up, right? So the rules of the shield mode say that you have to have been a follower for a month. It doesn't say you can't follow, that's the problem. No, chat verification. Jeff Burns Jr., didn't you follow the other week? Hello, by the way. No, hold on, how did you just follow? My apologies, Kev Burns. You will not. You might not be able to chat because. Oh, what? So you think if I remove Streamlabs as a bot and an allowed mod? Since you're not the only one that gets target, Twitch seems to have bigger problems currently. Right, okay. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, the chat's protected, right? They can't spam. Well, it's like this. So, you know, if you're watching the stream anyway, legit. Oh, there we go. Our viewers have dropped down again. If you're watching the stream legitimately and you haven't been a follower for a month, you can't talk, right? So I do apologize. But sub only doesn't bother me. Yeah, that's a more realistic number, right? Hello, Rambling Geek. How are you doing? Welcome to the yeah. Well, I've just been follow botted, spammed, and view botted. All in one stream. I got the triple whammy all in one go. So the shield mode is on, so you have to have been a follower for a month to chat. But I can't prevent followers. Why can't I prevent followers? Hi, One Lane. How you doing? Hope you're well. Like I said, the most frustrating thing for me today is that the stream is my highlight of my day. It is the thing I look forward to. It is a thing I enjoy doing, and I have really been enjoying streaming of late. So for this to happen today, when the work I have to do is frustrating, just a little bit upsetting. So that's all I'm really concerned about. It's just my irritation level. Is moderation. I can't control who can follow me. So that's completely out of my control. So follow button is completely. Hi, yes, how you doing? So let's at least try and salvage something out of this stream today. I do apologize. There's a 6-second delay on all the chat, so chat will go slow. So give it time. I mean, I could unmod Streamlabs. I don't know if that does anything for me. Does unmodding Streamlabs do anything for me? Or I'll tell it to stop posting because it's pushing the message up in the screen, isn't it? We are in a crazy broadcast for certain. Can I mute Streamlabs notifications? Do not know. Notifications. Actually, I can just turn off the component in OBS. So the funny thing is, last night I was playing with there you go. Yeah, I'm just gonna turn off the overlay component right now. I don't think any of us at this point care. Because I believe that it will actually dequeue it as well, so even if you stop it alerting, it will still have queued all the alerts, so I'd rather just turn off the component. So you shouldn't see it. Let me know if you do. Anyway, last night I was actually looking, yeah, we've just been targeted. If you look at my followers, I didn't all of a sudden gain 1,200 followers, sadly. We were at 2,000 views for a minute. Yeah. So last night I was actually looking at a platform for hosting your own stream. Like when I was testing it out, I actually had a stream running on my PC, hosted on my PC, and I was streaming publicly. So that was pretty cool. So I am going to investigate that more, I think. Did you bot yourself? No. I'm not the smartest of cookies, but I'm not. Like you said, it's some productive energy, and hopefully that event doesn't completely derail you for too long. Thank you very much, online. I appreciate it. You know, like I said, I'm okay with it, and it's just frustrating. No. So, okay, the focus of today's stream for the last part of the stream. So I've been working on this layout, right? So I got this working yesterday. So you can log in, you can get to the planning, you can get into here now. So today I just want to get some data flowing into here. I'm not going to concentrate at this point on what I want this to look like because I have some ideas for this, right? And I want to experiment with some different views before I go trying to actually design it. Because if I spend time, so now I've got a UI in place, I can visualize what I want, right? So my goal for this is that planning will be this color scheme. Pardon me, tickets will be a different color scheme, and stories will be a different color scheme. So the same layout, different color schemes, different menus, etc. So that's kind of where I'm going to head with this application. So, and I've kind of laid the groundwork for this by having this layout and the modules, so I can navigate into different modules, and those modules can be laid out completely differently, right? Which is cool. So when you go into the, here, the route you navigate to loads the layout component, right? So if I have stories and whatever, I can have different layouts and completely different designs. So I'll base them all off the one layout and then kind of color theme them appropriately. So that's one of the cool things that I figured out yesterday. But today I want to just grab the data. So we'll do some GraphQL. We'll get the data into this screen, and then I kind of want to talk about potential layouts and maybe run some ideas past people. So if you're interested in this project and you actually have some opinions on sort of the way you see data, then this is where this will come in. So what I'm going to do is the Angular project give you the Tailwind CSS config. No, it doesn't. I don't have Tailwind. Yeah. The theme extend, okay. Hey, we're up to 1,000 viewers again. I at this point I believe I actually am being directly targeted. Someone is watching the stream and doing this. Right. So yeah, maybe we can learn how to do that, right? So we'll get to that point. Yeah. But right now, I'm focused on planning, so that's where I'm gonna land this, right? BG planning 400 is a call. Okay, nice. Yeah, maybe we'll have a look at that. Thank you for that suggestion, though. Because again, learning, right? By the way, it does give me the ability to have different layouts the way it's laid out now. So the way the applications can be laid out, right? So I can have these all as modules. We learned yesterday about modules versus components, so standalone versus actual modules. Standalone we can use for kind of these components that are not. I mean, landing could be a module, essentially at this point, but things like buttons and select lists and stuff that would be shared between the application pieces, like those controls are now possible to be shared without actually being stuck in some sort of module. So you don't have to include, hey, I want to include the controls module just to have a drop down. You can just include the drop down. Well, you were also trying to help me a little bit. You would give me some guidance, and you're also trying to ban some of these people, get some of these people blocked and reported. So I do appreciate you being here, Kenny. That was because you were the only one in chat at that point. So that was yeah. Let's move forward. We'll see what we can do. So if you're watching and you can't chat, I do apologize. There is a limitation on the chat right this second. I do not want to remove that shield because if I get spammed again, that will be even more frustrating, and I don't want to derail anymore. So if you are following along, I am also live on YouTube. So if you do want to chat, you can go over there. Which might not be the brightest thing to say, but I do advertise it anyway, so whatever. Yeah, you're doing it deliberately. Okay. Okay. Someone is actually sat there watching the stream doing that. There's no way that's coincidental. That's not in batches. That's not on a timer. Yeah, it's not in batches. It's not on a timer. Dear. So it's random amounts. Because roles manager, Streamlabs. Streamlabs is no longer a mod. So he's using Streamlabs to do the follow. Ah, yeah, because they're all coming through Streamlabs. They're not actually directly on the stream, are they? Okay. Nothing's modded on YouTube. Okay, well, let's try and get on. I've got 30 minutes to get something done. Okay, can I at least, so being that you're all in the stream, I could. Yeah. At least I can reduce the delay on chat so you don't have a delay if you want to talk. I appreciate everyone being here, by the way. I really do appreciate you guys hanging out and dealing with that as well. I mean, this is a part of streaming, right? Maybe I've made it to the point where it's worth going after me. So, GraphQL, that's what I need. Right, so I need to stop that running, right? Because there's two components here. I need my chart. Localhost 5000. Yeah. I mean, if you could do a subscribe bot, that would be good. Client. Okay, so here's what we've got, right? I keep forgetting to save the part to the left. Okay. Yeah, but they won't count as actual hits. That's the problem. So it wouldn't actually do me any good to do it, would it? So I have this layout, right? And what I have is I have the API. We write into these systems. These systems produce data. They go to this database and they are read out via GraphQL. The client, and I'm trying to figure out how to best display this, right? Because the client sits kind of over here, right? Behind an API gateway. Listen, it will do eventually. Why isn't that? Wait, what? No, that's not that. That's because that's not. So there you go. So the client sits behind group. The client sits behind the group, the API gateway, and again, messages will come. Data will come in through this side, and I'll read it out there. So any, in this case, the Angular view, right, will filter all that data. So, and what makes this possible is when I log in through Auth0, right? So Auth0 sits up here. I log into Auth0, I get a token, and now everything's secured, right? So that token is passed with all the requests that I make back and forth between the sides of the system. So take care for the dog. Wish you the best for the rest of the stream. Don't get sad it's Friday. Annie, thank you very much. Thank you for your positivity and appreciate the support here. No, I'm not gonna get sad. Irritated, yes. Sad, no. So I'll be fine. We'll make something out at the end of the stream if we can. So thank you. So when I log in, I go to Auth0, I get the login, I then pass that token, so all these requests are then authorized. The the APIs know how to deal with the token, and then the GraphQL piece, right? So this is all authenticated and authorized. Right now, I'm not using the permissions exactly. Permissions are something that I need to review, but you know, I can set different permissions. So this is how it's flowing through, right? And again, that goes up there, and that goes down there. When I log into Auth0, I actually select which tenant I'm going to as well. So that comes back in that token response. So I can select that. But multi-tenancy, we're not panicking about right this second. So if I start the client part, right? So this is going to be the part that reads. That's that. The challenge with having it run. Actually, I don't need to do that. I can start the GraphQL here. So the reason I'm using both Rider and WebStorm is because WebStorm's Angular editing is a little bit further ahead of Rider's. Rider complains about some features, whereas WebStorm doesn't. So running. So we need to start the GraphQL endpoint up, and then we can start this one up here. Oh, it's safer as well, because then it's all contained within here. I don't get pop-up windows. So now, again, I go over here, sign in. I can customize this as well, I know that much. So ultimately, I'll be able to style that the way I want to style it. I log in, I get taken to my dashboard, I go to planning. So now, on this side of things, we have GraphQL. I need the token. Token. Value. Now we can go to Banana Cake Pop. Go to our connection settings, authorization, like that. And now we can ask for planning items. So what we need to be able to do, it says with confidence, there we go, is be able to get those planning items out. So on the client side, we're going to have a service somewhere. Services, store, country data, that's the country list. Helpers. Got the GraphQL provider in there already. Models. That's registration. Got the environment variables, yeah. That's all those things. So we need Angular GraphQL client. Follow. Angular. Fetching. I wasn't in the right place. Okay. So we're going to write something like this. So what this is add import Well, I'm out. Bye. Tunicus, thank you very much. Take care. Hope you're. You're off nights now, right? So I'm bored today. Cool. Well, have a great day. Thank you very much for hanging out. This stream will be ending on time today. Not unsurprisingly. So let's just call this planning items for right a second. So this is going to be get rid of that. I don't. As I go, I'm going to have to learn more about the syntax and how to write effective GraphQL queries, etc. So this is going to be the challenge, right? I don't. Do I put ID in there? Right. So yeah, I do. Okay. ID, title, and description. Right. I also can get the review date. Actually, the review date is going to matter. Right. So let's now get the query part of that working. So we need to create query subscription. Right. Query subscription equals this, right? So the way this is, you can actually set it so that it will receive changes as well. I know that. I still haven't learned GraphQL. For that reason, well, remember how to query. Yeah. So again, what I'm trying to do with this application is a little bit of new stuff with a little bit of old. So GraphQL now, because I have the application broken up into components, right? So there's ticketing, planning, stories, teams, tenant management. They're all different components of the system. They all have their independent behaviors. So, the application stat looks like this right now. Reporting would be a separate concern as well. So I can break out all those pieces. So I'm leaning very much into that CQRS where I create tickets, I create planning items, I create teams, and then the data gets published through Kafka and goes into this consumer layer. And this is just one of the ways I'm consuming it. And GraphQL now makes sense from this perspective because now I can create a normalized database that I can query and I can ask for data very quickly. Because traditionally I've kind of broken up the applications like this, but the read and write have both been on here. So GraphQL, when you have this distributed piece, is a little bit messier. So my idea here is that I can make this database really ideal for that, so the queries can be a little bit more simplistic, maybe, or I can flex them with a data model that's customized for the GraphQL component. I can also tinker with like subscriptions and stuff, right? So, and again, reporting, alerting, notifications all come out of here. They're all extra pieces. And some of these feed back into the other areas as well. If I'm drawing this diagram accurately, these consumers also exist. Like when I publish a tenant, planning and ticketing both get that tenant. When I publish a user, planning and ticketing both get that user, right? So doing it this way, I actually am allowing myself to build something that is very much customized for that need. And I can tinker with it, right? I can experiment. One of the things I do have an idea of is, okay, well, things like the details for ticketing and planning, maybe they don't live in GraphQL. Maybe they live in something like Couchbase, so that when I load up the ticket, I go and request that detail from there. I've also not built with Kafka, so this is giving me some good context on how to leverage it as well. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Kafka's a lot of fun. The way I'm using it is for essentially integration events. So when I have a tenant, so my tenant management application over here, when I what is it? subscribers. So when I register my tenant, so that's actually done in the domain service, right? So register the tenant calls tenant.create, right? And that's a method that publishes a domain event. That domain event is one that's listened to in notifications in Mediator within this piece, and this listens to that tenant was registered event and turns around and publishes straight to Kafka. So I publish an integration event to Kafka. I'm using Kafka very much for publishing the data. So I'm not saying, hey, tenant was created. I'm not saying, hey, tenant was updated necessarily. I am putting a source on there, right? So I am at least tagging it with why it got there, but why it got there is not necessarily the crux of it. The crux of it is here's the data. So when I register a tenant user, I do something similar. I publish that information out. So in my Kafka system, my topics look like this, right? So I have tenants, and when I see a tenant, there's my tenant with a company name and the reason it came out here, right? Similar for users. I have users. Now, the way the flow works here for registration is I accept. So if I go back to here, so you ask for a name, my name, sample at test.com, right? I get a company name, address, etc., and you accept all this. And when you register, what that does is it sends up a command, or it sends up a request to the server that then creates an organization, which is creating a company name with an address. It then creates a user. It then assigns that user to the tenant. Then it says, hey, auth0, please create this user with the password that's selected. When that completes, if all that completes together, the transaction commits and everything gets saved and all the events fire and everything else. Right? Have you sorted out a plan for telemetry? Because I could see the same approach used to ingest telemetry. Yes. So I am looking at open telemetry because the way this works is I can use all these events without actually, because one of the things that I don't like doing is I don't like putting logging in applications. I don't like sticking loads of information in my systems, right? So I don't like having log this, log this, log this, log this. So what I can use is I can use the behavior stuff around Mediator. So I can say when the handler is requested, log that, so I can get telemetry on the number of requests per second. I can get the request itself logged if I want to. I can do metrics and logging and alerting off this. I can add a layer in between my commands and their pieces. I can also then subscribe to these events myself, so I can actually create a general subscriber to these notifications. So I can actually put debug versus production notification logging in there. So debug might be more logging it out to a console, whereas a production one might be logging some metrics on, yep, an event was fired, it was received, etc. So, and then again on Kafka side, I can consume those things again. Kafka is also a possibility for producing that data too, because that's what Kafka was originally intended for, right? So I could potentially publish all that data to Kafka, consume it. So I have been tinkering with OpenTelemetry to layer into this application stack as well. Lots of moving parts, that's for certain. But it's coming together, I think, and it's generally working pretty well so far. But it is allowing me to validate some of the designs and thought patterns I've had for years. This is the joy of distributed systems. Yeah. It is a, and we've kind of gone through it a few times on the stream, right? What's the benefit in doing it this way, right? What is the purpose in why not just get an application together and make it work? Well, because, my intention is to make this an actual platform, by the way. This is not just a toy. I'm treating this as if I'm going to take it to a product. I'm going to look at it in a second, Roston, but so I am treating it very much that way, and I do want to take it in that direction. So if I was to build it very simplistically first to try and verify that the features that I wanted there, then pulling them apart and actually making them work in that distributed manner when I know that the scale of this sort of software is that big anyway, would be useless. So yes, I could be engineering a lot of stuff that might seem like overkill, but in the real world, if this platform does make it to a production system, and I do get actual customers on this platform, then I'd rather be able to say, yep, it can deal with it straight out the bat. I don't need to panic. And this is taking me 6 months to get to, right? As a solo developer, so I don't think it's that unreasonable. Now, there's still a lot of features to do, but I think the framework in place for that is good. What is that software where you write JSON for testing? Is it software? JSON for testing. Are you thinking of Playwright? Maybe? No, that's Playwright. That's a TS file. Not sure. Write JSON for testing. I'm going to take a look at Playwright as well. Oh, this is so what I've got is I've got hot chocolate from Chili Cream as a GraphQL layer. So in my view here, right, this is configured to read data from my application. So when information publishes through my system, it lands in my consumers pick it up, and I have my read system, as I'm just referring to it right now, is pulling that data and storing it in its own SQL database, right? So that is here, the view database. So all the data comes in and is kind of normalized out in here, right? Then I put queries on top of that with GraphQL, right? So I'm basically saying, okay, well, if you want to ask for planning items, here's get planning items, and now here's the data. So for that tenant, because again, I'm logging in through Auth0. This request has to be authorized. That token that I'm getting from Auth0 contains the tenant that I currently have selected. So that's what that's pulling out there. And then I'm querying that data and retrieving. So this is not testing. This is actually querying that data, right? So I can build that on my client. So this is a tool called Banana Cake Pop, and Hot Chocolate is the .NET app I'm using. Yeah. So they have 4 products. Banana Cake Pop is the GUI. Hot Chocolate is the actual stuff around that you install on the .NET app side. Strawberry Shake, I'm not using GraphQL from any clients right now, but if I was creating a Maui app or something like that, then I could use this Strawberry Shake to actually interact with GraphQL as a .NET library. And then yeah, I'm not orchestrating at this point. So that's what that is. Yeah. So what we need to do right this second, let's see if we can do it before we finish up today, is we need to do this. Now, again, there is the possibility of you can actually set up GraphQL with socket connections. So this watch query actually does watch. So if we trigger something to say it's changed on the server side, it will requery its data and pull it down. And that's the sort of pattern I want to move towards in the end. So, I don't know. I'm starting to think I actually could do with a drawing tablet here. Again, the client, the server, the read database. When the client updates the data, I actually do have one. It just doesn't work. That's the problem. Never get it to pair. No, it's not. It's not charged either. So what happens is so this is the client, right? Let me know if you can make it out, okay? Right. This writes into one system. I think it is. Yeah, and into us. Does it have a USB thing with it? Oh no, I've lost my dongle. Yeah. I think a better tablet for the stream would probably be better. That one wasn't very good to begin with. It was very inaccurate. I got it as a test. It wasn't an expensive one. So anyway, the way I want this to work ultimately is when I enter data on the client, what's going to happen is I'm going to use NGRX. So it stores that data locally. So if I say, hey, this thing has a label, I will take recommendations or Rambling Geek if you know of any tablets that would work for what I'm wanting here, right? Note taking, I'm not really particularly interested in. It's more being able to draw on stream and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a Wacom into us. Nice. Yeah, mine's like that. Wasn't expensive. CTH 680. It's and I got the wireless module for it, but it doesn't connect. That's the problem. The USB thing and stuff is yeah, I paid for the wireless module for it, but I seem to have lost the USB thing. I have a Wacom Mobile Studio by XP Pen and who aren't great as well. Yeah. Because I'm definitely a pictures kind of person, right? Oh, that is not cheap. um, yeah, they got much better. I wouldn't need anything big. Okay. So, yeah. So ultimately, what's going to happen is I'm going to use NGRX. That's the plan, right? So that be on canvas. I'll have a look. I'll give that a look as well. I didn't know for after stream. So when I save data, it'll update on here, post the write to the server will write it, Kafka will publish it, the read database will receive it, and then the read will get subscribed to. So if someone else updates some data, they'll also get the benefit of my change, right, behind the scenes. So the local store will change is the goal. Now I've still got to learn more about what that means. Let's go. Thanks for stream. Even with the crazy, it was still fun. Good luck. Apex, thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day. See you around. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for ultimately, right? Where I kind of want that cycle to go, and that means that I can have an intelligent client, and but you know, I can create APIs and stuff all along here, and that's the beauty of doing this the way I'm doing it, right? I don't have to use the GraphQL piece. I could create APIs and create different clients. I could create mobile views. I could create all sorts, and as long as I'm going through here, then I'm fine. Save to current file. Let's finally get that saved. So on this side, right, what they're asking for here is that energy on init. So we need a few things. We need on init, on destroy. So implements on init, on destroy, right? Energy on destroy, and then we need a, I think it was a public subscription, but let's have a check. No, private subscription. Okay, so it's private because we're changing data, right? So we're defining this data, and that's the data that's going to get displayed. We're going to see if we can get this done before the end of the stream. We're going to get a query. Yeah, so we need a constructor, and that's going to take Apollo. Yep. And we need a private query subscription. Is a query subscription. No, it's just a subscription. Okay, so it's just a regular subscription. And yeah. Actually, sorry, I was reading my own message there. My apologies. I am more than flustered today. So on init, right? So ng on init. We're going to call planning items up here. Let's do. It seems to be the idiomatic style for TypeScript is because it's public by default, which I kind of don't like. It's public by default, but I suppose that's more JavaScripty. But the idiomatic style seems to be to do. Let's do this. Planning items. They just put any. That's ridiculous. It's a planning item array equals. Right, I believe that's what it is. Yeah. Our planning item result. Unless you use a Scala draw, I've been putting on with it. It's amazing. Yeah, I host it locally as well. I chose to actually host it in a Docker container. So I love playing with it. It's really easy to draw stuff with. So this is definitely something I'm enjoying. So this is actually a planning item result. So let's go with result for this. I can planning item result, right? Because what actually comes back is not equals data, I believe. Okay. Yeah. I don't have to be signed in. Yeah, just local, and I can support it. So yesterday when I was testing that stream stuff, I actually had a stream running at OBS on this PC, all on the dev PC. I had the software for streaming installed in my Docker instance. I was running OBS, and then connecting ngrok, provide that publicly, and the CPU was set at like, what was it? The GPU was set at 40%. I was doing NVENG, and because this is a 2080 Super in this, I was streaming at 1440p, and the machine, you wouldn't know. So this is the 5800X, right? So with all, I mean, I've got 60 gig of the memory taken up because I have 128 gig in this machine, but overall this machine is not struggling. That's the CPU you were asking about last night. So running Docker's running SQL Server, Excalidraw, Console, Baguette, Kafka, and OpenTelemetry components right now. But I'm not streaming off the same PC right now. But even last night, it still wasn't unwieldy. Okay, so we have the request. So now, let's see. So if we do if result, now can I do? Does this still work? No. How do I know that? Oh. Do this for item of result dot planning items track item div div item dot title. Let's see if that works even. There we go. Straight away, first time. Just to prove it, div item dot description. Did you plan on this? So now we can go over to the side. Over to the side. We can start full stack. This could be a little messier. Go and get. See if this all starts up fine. So the full stack right now is oh, actually, stop all. I don't want full stack to contain something. Edit. Placeholder login doesn't need to be there anymore. Okay, here we go. So the full stack is the tenant management, the ticket system, planning items API internal, planning items public API, the view for the GraphQL, and then the consumers for the services. That's the full stack at this point. Oh. Service was that. Planning internal. I don't necessarily need that right a second. Okay, so what we should be able to do, we should be able to go to planning items, right? Update that token, and we can say, okay, my new planning item, this is a new planning item. I plan on displaying this on the dash on the view. Review date will be 435. Ultimately, there's going to be validation on these things, right? So you can't add a review date in the past and all those sorts of fun things. And that gets us into a different conversation about server side versus, when you're building an API and everything's an API first, do you put the validation on the server or do you request that a client does it? Because you've got to handle those requests. So validation server side makes sense. I should be able to do this. That should work. And then within a short amount of time, there you go. There's your new plan item. And my simplified short answer is both client for user convenience, server for actual protection. I tend to agree, but I've had many arguments about this. It's worth kind of highlighting as a discussion point, right? It's like I've built an API, and yeah. Oh, so before I finish up, so that's working, right? You can see that that got there eventually. So eventually that was consistent. It took a second or two. That's because it was fed through the system processed it, the system published it, the consumer consumed it, wrote it into a database, and when I hit refresh, it was able to query that data. But that did make it into two different databases, right? So now we have planning items flowing through, which is progress. So yesterday, I'd heard for the nth time back end for front end. And I'm like, what do people mean when they say that? And I realized that I was kind of talking about it today and not realizing that we now put a term on this, right? Because I was saying about building APIs. And when you build APIs, you're oftentimes, when you're focused on the API from the UI perspective, you actually end up making your API fit that UI. And I don't necessarily agree with that, right? And now learn that when we talk about back end for front end, that's exactly what we mean. We mean that API fits with that front end. So I'm like, okay. So it's just building different APIs for different purposes. Okay. I felt kind of foolish because I've heard the term and just breezed over it, and I'm like, okay, is it actually something specific? I'm like, no, it's not. It's a general term to describe building an API specific for a client need. There's a great .NET Blazor All Wealth video that describes it pretty well, but I think it has to do with the backend holding credentials. The front end does not get the token. It's done through cookies anymore. Learning, right? Okay, so that's why. Again, it's like, so because I was like, okay, I got a for backend as front end, or whatever it's called. Yeah. Backend for front end. Yeah, BFF. Yeah, there you go. Just breaking up the different services for the different needs. That's all it means. So essentially it means sharing the right components between the two backends, but building specific backends that fit for the services they need. So but again, because I'm using something like Auth0, right? I get a token. I pass the token up. I don't need to do the validation is the same, whether I build, and that's what this is proving, right? Because the GraphQL API is here, and my regular APIs are here. The token comes in, the token is still validated here, and it's still validated here, yeah. So, auth is done here, I pass the token along, I get authenticated, authorized here, and similarly when I'm requesting data. So if I wanted to build a different client, if I wanted to build a mobile specific client, for me it's a mobile view, I could still create different APIs at this layer to accommodate different things. But I don't know that I would. Right? I could potentially, and that's the beauty of doing it this way, is again, an API gateway definitely helps, because the API gateway allows me to talk to an API, and I can split that up or I can join them together. So if I want to verify something, I can put functionality into one of these components that then later on I split out, and all that needs to change is my API routing to direct it to the right piece. So yeah, it's I will say, if nothing else, choosing to build an application of this size on stream, or I'm not building it on stream, obviously I am working on this off stream, but choosing to do this and build this project and commit to doing it is pretty much one of the best things I've ever done in terms of my software. I get that it's complicated, but by trying to hold to some good practices and trying to not just rush through and get something produced, it is allowing me to stop and question some of the designs and learn a little bit more about why I'm doing something or how it's going to work. Now, because I'm trying to make it so complicated, maybe I'm going to get stuck as I go forward, because I'm going to get stuck on technologies, right? Like just the GraphQL component, just being able to do this, right? That's nice and simple. But now if I want to include NGRX in this, right, this challenge gets infinitely harder, because I'm going to end up with this sort of stuff, right? So now that action I just did, I'm going to go to a service, it's going to get the data, it's going to store it in a store. My component is actually going to request its data from a selector, which is going to come from the store, right? Or however that life cycle works exactly. So I've got to learn more about this. So my application on the client side gets more involved. But hopefully, again, the challenge is, once I've got the patterns down, yeah, we've been here before, right? Once I've got the patterns down, it's a Redux pattern, yeah. Then maybe I can handle that, because what I'm talking about, Unicus, is the whole flow of data, right? Updating the client and storing the client, because obviously when I save something here, it's not here. It's not really visible to this client until later on. So, you know, it's read-only data. Gives that flexibility. But anyway, I'm overdue. I'm over time. I am not going to raid into anyone today. I'm going to end the stream. I obviously have to review what the heck I do now with 2,200 followers all of a sudden that over the course of the next couple of months will disappear. It does now kind of put a reason as to why over time sometimes you'll just be streaming and a follower disappears. I think that's because it's probably an account that's just gone stagnant and it just unfollows automatically. Thanks again for the amazing stream. One Lion, thank you very much for coming and hanging out. I apologize for the rocky flow to get in here, but we did get some productivity, which is good. We got a GraphQL query in place. We got some discussion in there, some design stuff. So yeah, so I will see you in your stream later on. It's community day. I'm deliberately not going to give no, but it's still yeah. Have a good day. Judy guys, thank you very much. You too. And I'll see you all around. So take care. Have a great weekend if I don't see you around. And thank you very much. Yep, I will come and hang out as long as I've got no meetings. So absolutely. So take care all. Thank you very much. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.